Air Assault. Hello, friends, and welcome to Shiro Coffee Chat. We hope you've had a great week, and thank you for joining us today. We've got a full cup ahead, so grab your Shiro coffee, because we're taking a spin around the Shiro resource table. Plus, we've got your chat, tip, and guest of the week. Let's give a big shout out to our host, Melissa Farmer-Hill, Army Combat Veteran, host of Shiro Coffee Chat, and founder of the Shiro Coffee Club, where we keep the world caffeinated and women veterans celebrated. And now, reporting for duty and ready to lead the conversation, Melissa Farmer-Hill.
Air Assault! Good morning, friends, and welcome to the Shiro Coffee Chat, where coffee meets conversation for our military and veteran community. I hope you did have a great weekend, and I just want to say thank you for joining me here today. We've got our Shiro in hand. You've got your Shiro coffee in hand. If you don't have your Shiro coffee in hand, you can go to shirocoffee.com and order your bag, where our mission is to keep the world caffeinated and women veterans celebrated. On the back of every bag, you will find a woman veteran and a story about her service. So yes, go to shirocoffee.com if you don't have your Shiro coffee. But right now we are ready, and we are ready to roll right over into our Shiro resource table. Yes, at Shiro Coffee Chat, we know and we understand that life is definitely a journey that's not always easy. Our government is currently on a 33-day shutdown. Let me repeat that. Our government is currently on a 33-day shutdown, and many families here in the United States of America, they are getting hit hard. That's why we definitely got to keep our heads on a swivel, right? We've got to keep our heads on a swivel when it comes to helping our veterans and their families. With over 16 million veterans out there, none of us has all the answer, but together, we can and we will find solutions. The Shiro Resource Table is all about sharing information, resources, and programs for our veteran community, because when one of us wins, guess what, you guys? We all win. Now, today at the Shiro Resource Table, I want to talk about the ongoing government shutdown, as I have been for the past couple of weeks since October 1st, and how it's impacting SNAP benefits. So that's what I want to talk about today, how it's impacting SNAP benefits across the country. And because of the pause in funding, November benefits haven't been paid out, and that leaves about 42 million Americans, including 1.3 million service members, without access to their usual food assistance. Now, that is deeply concerning, right? I know it's deeply concerning to me, and I'm sure it's deeply concerning to you, because it's not only for our citizens and our veterans, but for our service members who are still wearing the uniform, and all of our families who are part of that 42 million. Now, I'm grateful. I'm very grateful, don't get me wrong, that they found a way to pay our military, but there are still over 1 million military members, still facing real uncertainty when it comes to putting food on the table. Now, if you or someone you know is affected by this, do not wait for help. I don't want you guys to wait for help, because there are organizations out there that they quite frankly, there are organizations out there that get government funding to help you. Yes, they have government contracts, and their only job is to help you, especially right now in your time of need. So you can go to feedingamerica.org. You can see it going across the ticker, or foodfinder.us. All you have to do is enter your zip code to find a food bank in your community. You can also reach out. We're in this together. You can also reach out to your local VFW, your American Legion, just places, your church, your community center. Many of them do have emergency food programs, or at least they can point you in the right direction if you are in need, So we all have to keep showing what community looks like. And if you can spare some goods or other items, go donate. Go donate. Or if you know of local resources or organizations, then let's help in filling that gap right now. So just drop the organizations in the comments, because someone may be watching right now. Someone may be watching us live right now who might be in need. And once again, Congress, Mr. President, let's work together and get our nation back on its feet. Let's help get our nation fed. If you hear that noise in the background, that's just my niece who's leaving the kitchen right now, because she is super loud. I don't know if you can hear it, but she is super loud. And she's going to wait the rest of these few minutes until the show ends. Thank you, niece. All right. And now let's get into our chat of the week. I had to let her know. That was my little way of letting her know, you guys. And now let's get into our chat of the week. And I don't know if you caught this. Okay, let me take a pause real quick. But on October 29th, Congress held a hearing called Putting Veterans First. It took a look at the current VA disability system. And then the question was, is the VA disability system keeping its promise? So basically, they took a deep dive in how VA rates and compensates service-connected conditions. This system, if you don't know it, it's known as the Schedule for Rating Disabilities, and it helps decide how much compensation a veteran will get for things like mental health, sleep apnea, tinnitus, and other health issues and conditions, tied to their service. Now, they're saying that the focus isn't on cutting pay. It's about updating the system to reflect modern medicine. And I can appreciate that. I mean, modern medicine and technology have come a long way. It's been decades since they last updated it. So yeah, I can appreciate that. But for example, these are some things that might be happening. Mental health, they might be rated using some categories that are different now, like how well do you think? How well do you relate to others, and how well do you handle like your daily life tasks? Whereas before it was more broad, it was more on a related to your social and your occupational impairment. And then for sleep apnea, using a CPAP machine, might not automatically get you 50% rating anymore, right? Especially if your symptoms can be controlled. So the goal, according to Congress, is really to make things fairer and more consistent and do the updates. But I'm not worried, because I am certain that, veteran groups are out there. They're watching closely to make sure no one loses out in this process, right? And I'm gonna talk about something. Now, I'm not sure what sparked this thing, but I will tell you what, on October 6th, the Washington Post dropped a pretty shocking article. You guys, if you haven't seen it, I'll put it I'll link it below. But it's a pretty shocking article about veterans defrauding the government through disability claims. And I will tell you guys right now, it is definitely not a good look. The investigation shows some veterans that were collecting full disability benefits while they're living active and healthy lives. And we want you to live an active, healthy life, but we don't want you defrauding the government in order to do so. But one of the claims, this man was claiming to be paralyzed. That was one of the claims, who was literally just caught on video doing backflips. Like I said, this is not a good look. Then there was another person, I think they claimed to be blind or something like that. And social media shows what appears to be him out with a weapon, hunting. The investigation was bad. It was bad, you guys. And I know this does not mean that everyone is not living up to that honor system, but I'm just wondering, did this article in the Washington Post trigger this this meeting, or was it already on the docket? I'm not sure. But the bottom line is this: if you've got service connected conditions, now is the time to double check your medical records. I think I even said this last week. Double check your medical records. Stay updated, you guys, on the proposed changes. And of course, we will definitely keep following this on Shiro Coffee Chat. And that was your chat of the week. Yeah, that Washington Post article was, it was not good. I'm gonna let it go right there. But we are going to move right into our tip of the week. Yes. So yesterday I attended the Blue Star Family Symposium. It was a great event. When you talk about resources, information, just tips, it started at 8:30 and ended at about 3 or 3:30. I stayed the entire day because the information gathered, the networking, and just talking to veteran or military family members who are caregivers was just an amazing thing. And shout out to Courtney Cone Sanders. If you did not see her, we interviewed her last week about Blue Star Family. So if you want to know more about Blue Star Families, go to last week's episode. Valuable information. But they had pretty good swag bags there, so that was nice. But one of the things that really stuck with me is our tip of the week, and that was, sometimes you don't have time to relax, or you're right in the middle of something and you just want to woosah. Yes, woosah. I like that. I like that word, woosah. And so what I'm trying to remember her name. I knew it, but I can't remember her name. But it was a representative from Red Cross, and she did an amazing session with us for relaxation and things like that. But here's a quick one for you guys. So take your hand, the back of your hand, and what you're going to do is trace your hand. Yes, this is your tip of the week, learning how to relax. And what are you going to, as it goes up, you breathe in. As you trace your hand down, you breathe out. So that's in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. And I didn't do it, but that is how it's done. And just something that simple can make so many changes. So I want you to try that. I want you to try that this week. I want you to do it as many times as you feel comfortable in doing. I mean, you can do it like right before a meeting, or you can do it right before you go out in your office. I think it is definitely something that will help you to just relax. And like I said, the word I used before, and woosah. And that is your tip of the week. And now you guys, you know what time it is, right? I'm just going to take a sip of my coffee. Shiro coffee. This morning is dark roast, and I'm drinking it. It's black. I like black coffee. I like coffee with creamer. I like all kinds of coffee, but black coffee is really good. And you know what I noticed? When I drink black coffee, I drink it a lot slower than when I put all the sugars and the additives and things like that in. So we are going to get to my favorite part of the Shiro Coffee Chat. Yes, the guest of the week. Now, you guys, Frank Jagger is the founder of Yeager's Consulting. You know what? We practice this. And if I said his name wrong, he will correct me when he comes on. But Frank Jagger is the founder of Yeager's Consulting, a mission-driven firm specializing in accessibility consulting, aging in place renovations, and commercial building audits. With firsthand experience as both a caregiver and construction professional, Frank blends deep technical knowledge with lived insight to help organizations design with dignity and compliance in mind. He's also the force behind the VOB Network. That is a nonprofit platform connecting veteran-owned businesses like the Shiro Coffee Club, advocates, and service organizations to foster collaboration, visibility, and shared prosperity. I absolutely love that. Frank's approach is rooted in contribution, whether he's helping businesses grow through better design or empowering underserved communities. His work lives at the intersection of accessibility, entrepreneurship, and strategic impact. I can't wait for this conversation to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Frank Jagger. I don't know if I got it right or not, Frank.
You did fine. You did fine. I've been called way worse, and even if you got it completely wrong.
I just want to say thank you for just coming on the Shiro Coffee Chat. Like I told you before, when one of us wins, we all win. I truly believe that. And, you know, if we can spread the information that our guests have, the more we can spread, the more information gets out, and the more we can help people. So I just want to say thank you for coming on the show. Now, tell us a little bit about you.
Oh my goodness. As relates to what I mean,
let's talk about Army.
Oh my goodness. What? A long time ago. Back in, I got into the Army in 1990, right as we were heading into the first Gulf War. So, got into the 3rd Squadron, 2nd Armored Cavalry Regiment, and headed down to Iraq, and we were the tip of the spear during the first Iraq War.
Wow, that is thank you for your service. We appreciate that, and thank you for your continued service, which is what we're going to talk about today. So I mean, this is genius. What inspired you to just combine accessibility, construction, and veteran support into a unified mission? That's incredible.
The veteran thing has been a thing for me ever since I got out. I mean, I wasn't able to turn the military into a career because of the reduction in force that happened right after Desert Storm. But there's so many people that I served with have, as you talked about earlier, people with serious issues. Gulf War syndrome is a real thing. Yeah. I mean, health challenges. And whenever during 9/11, believe it or not, fun fact, I was sitting on the Pittsburgh International Airport taxiway whenever the first planes flew into the World Trade Center on 9/11. And I was like, that was it. I was going back, and, I didn't wind up going back, but I started to see people who did wind up, they activated the reserves and all those things at that time, and people were losing their homes while they were deployed. I'm like, no, this can't happen. So, I started my own nonprofit at that point, trying to help people just keep their homes, keep up their homes. I mean, their houses were falling apart. That's, I think, when Ty Pennington started with the extreme home makeover thing at the same time. I mean, it was just really important to me to see people who were really contributing everything to our country to keep their homes, to keep their families safe whenever they weren't able to protect them themselves. Um, and I mean, I taught myself construction. I did all those kinds of things. And I met my wife, uh, oh goodness, it's been 20 years ago. And
Dawn.
yep,
Shout out to Dawn. Hey, Dawn, if you're watching.
Dawn is a finance professional. She was the treasurer for a public school system when I met her, and she also happens to be a C5-6 quadriplegic. She was injured 2 weeks after graduating high school back in 1987, and I mean, we hit it off. We had a great time, but I thought I knew accessibility. Being a construction guy, I'd done accessibility work, and I realized that I didn't know squat about accessibility until I had to live it.
Right. Seeing the stuff, up front and personal, it just hits different, right? And thank goodness you were in the business you in. So this was a divine thing for you and Don, because the business that you're doing and what you guys are doing is just so amazing, and helping you to get to what you do now with the construction and accessibility for veterans is just wonderful. Now let's talk about how Jagger's Consulting help businesses and communities to become more inclusive, and why it's so important right now.
People don't realize. I mean, I talked to somebody here not that long ago, and there was a borough council meeting happening locally, and there were they had gotten some complaints, and they said, there's only one step into the council chambers. And I said, one step is all it takes to keep my wife out. One step is all it takes to keep my wife out. One step you cannot navigate with a wheelchair. And it's just that realization of, hey, it only takes one step to block out an entire group of people from participating in borough council meetings, from participating in life. So, I mean, anytime we can eliminate one step from blocking out this entire group of people, every barrier we can remove, it allows more people to participate in life in general.
That was profound. And the reason I say that is because, like you said, one step, and the council members are like, oh, it's just one step. It's nothing. No, it's nothing for you, right? It's nothing for you, but one step just disregards an entire group, and probably quite a large group, I would imagine.
Oh yeah.
And we take so many things for granted, right? And now that you talked about the council, and when you think about government, we really have to get people in there who are passionate, who can explain, like what you were able to do, what is going on, because like you said, that one step can eliminate an entire group of people. And we take so many things. It just made me realize, Frank, that we take so many things for granted, and we really have to start looking out for one another a lot better. Now, if someone was listening today and they want to make their homes or their organizations definitely more accessible, where would you recommend that they start? Now, we also, just to let you know, we've got your LinkedIn, we've got the websites down scrolling, but where would you recommend that they start?
So, I have checklists available on my website for people to actually be able to follow along. But quite honestly, just walking through, anytime you have to lift your foot. So that means, for elderly people, a throw rug on the floor can constitute a major problem. My neighbor had macular degeneration, and he fell and broke his hip because of a throw rug. He turned, got his feet tangled up, and wound up falling and breaking a hip because of a throw rug. So simple things like that. Anytime you can eliminate trip hazards, it's gonna be a better environment for the elderly, for the people who are disabled. That it's gonna be huge. Um, you know, for people with like wheelchair users as well. I mean, a throw rug, those casters have to spin, and whenever you try to turn, that rug just wraps itself up and around. My wife actually got trapped at we were at a department store, and the drapes that they have on the display tables were on the floor, and when she pulled up to the table, that caster caught on that drape, and she's just sitting there. And until I came walking up, there hadn't been a person like a clerk in the neighborhood. Until I came walking up, she was unable to move without knocking everything over on top of herself. So I mean, just being aware of just small things and how those constitute just a real hazard for someone, it helps immensely. Just being aware of your environment.
Yeah, and that you definitely make a good point. For one, I'm grateful for the Disabilities Act, which prior to that, there's no telling what people with disabilities were going through. Probably still needs more work. I haven't seen it in a long time, but it probably still needs more work. But one of the things when you talk about in the home, so as I was growing up, as me and my siblings and all of us were growing up, we used to always make this joke because my grandmother, she was the type plastic on the furniture, and she has this runner. And then if the runner folded over and you put your foot, if you stepped on it, oh my goodness, it had these spikes or these plastic sharp spikes on the other end. And we used to always make fun of that. But that runner was always there. Now she's going into her 70s, she's going into her 80s, and she's going into her 90s. And then the runner is what caused her to have a fall, have an accident. And so, yes, I am so glad that you mentioned that, because it's little things like that that we definitely have to be aware of around the house. I think we do a good job with children and, making our home safe for children. But when you're a caregiver, when you're, taking care of someone with disabilities, it should be the same thing, to use those same types of precautions that we use for children, that we do for those who have disabilities, who may not be children, they may be older. Yeah.
I mean, and accounting for this, their pride. I mean, people, I've run into it a lot of times where, I mean, hey, let me install this. It's just a temporary grab bar for you to help you out in the bathroom. No, absolutely not. I don't need that thing. And they refuse to have it because of pride. And being able as a caregiver to say, listen, I need that bar. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
I mean, I need that. If I could just grab
Right.
on anything to help me get up off the commode or something like that, that would be fantastic. Taking that pressure off of them, making them understand, hey, this is just life, man. We all need a little bit of help now and then, and we don't have to make it obtrusive. We don't have to make it look like a hospital. Let's just help you out here and there. Those are the things we need to account for.
Yeah, I definitely believe in that. And we gotta let go of the pride. So my husband, he's always talking about, because he's a realtor and he used to do a housing, and he used to be a housing inspector. And so he's always talking about the electrical, that little thing, like when your electrical, when it goes out and you have to push the button. He was like, they don't have a whatever the term is for that. He's like, that. And he's always looking on the stairs to make sure you have something to hold on to. So it's like, still to this day, even though he doesn't do inspections, it's still in him. Every time he sees it, he identifies it and flags them for the play. It's when he sees it in movies and everything else, I think it's hilarious. So once that stuff gets in you, it's just
how you see the world. Yep, it's how you move through the world, for sure.
Yeah. So Frank, now you wear so many hats: veteran, caregiver, entrepreneur. Now, how have those experiences shaped the way you lead and serve today?
Oh my goodness. I started in Boy Scouts. And I think that one of my most profound. I mean, I was bullied as a kid. I was kind of a solitary kid. But
Hmm.
Boy Scouts, when I got involved in Boy Scouts, that was my first opportunity to witness what teamwork really was, to be able
Yeah.
to uh, enjoy real friendships. Um, and so, and then military and going on, I was actually traveled a lot for work. So I really didn't get involved with personal relationships a ton
Hmm.
until, I mean, but people were, I mean, that the Boy Scout experience and then the military experience primed me for just being aware of people. And I mean, apparently I'm a softie whenever, and I just, I my heart goes out to people who are struggling, who are in need, and any way I can help, I just I feel obligated. Um, you know, when I was a contractor, I used to do it all the time. You have senior citizens, and you go into their house, and they have little, you're like, hey, that screen door is kind of screwed up. You need that fixed. Oh, no, I can't afford to do that right now. And I just go and pull a couple things out of my truck and just fix it for them. Yeah, things like
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
mean, because you're at a one of the most vulnerable times of your life, being able to afford to take care of things, being able to take care of things yourself. You just can't do it anymore. And everybody being able to pitch in just in a small way is a huge help.
Yeah. As I get guests on here, there's just one resounding theme. They have a heart for people and a heart of service. And you just proved once again that there are some great and wonderful Americans out there. Now, I kind of want to change hats because I just looked at the time. I want to change hats. I want to talk about the challenges, like your VOB network, and how do you support veteran-owned businesses?
So this has only been going on, believe it or not, Melissa, since January. We actually started this nonprofit in January, um, and have had our second board meeting in October. So I mean, it's a very new thing, but it stemmed from the challenges that I faced trying to get my own business started, because government resources are spotty, hit and miss. The veteran business development centers, sometimes you can get good people who are interested in helping you, and sometimes you get people who are interested in holding a title. So it's really difficult. And so any way that I always figured, any way that we can help ourselves as a community, we're better off. So uh, I actually connected with a guy in Hawaii who is a non-veteran, uh, and we developed a way for veterans who are interested in entrepreneurship to be able to start their own businesses and be supported by some of the best professionals that we can find, and learn how to do their own books, learn how to uh, create a business plan, learn how to create loan documentation, learn how to do all of the things that you need to do in order to create a profitable business.
Yeah.
And to do that, and I mean, once they're profitable, we don't abandon them. We actually, yes, it's not entirely free anymore, but we're still a community. We'll still talk to each other. We still support each other. And if we can, help pay it forward, we do that.
I uh I I like, because everything you said is true, and being a veteran owned business, it is challenging. I mean, the trying to navigate through the process, and then if you don't know what you don't know, so there's missed opportunities. So I'm glad, and I'm definitely joining Shiro Coffee Club. It will definitely be joining the VOB network. I'm so glad that you came up with the idea, and you have a group of professionals ready to support our veterans out here who are entrepreneurs. Now, one thing I just want to get this recorded. I definitely want to introduce you to Blue Star Families, because their symposium was on caregiving yesterday, and they do a lot of other things besides caregiving, but definitely you should be part of their platform when they do these caregiving symposiums. So definitely want to connect you with Courtney Cohn Sanders, who's the executive director for the Chicagoland chapter. And if nothing else, get you out here to Chicago next year.
Absolutely.
Get you out here to Chicago next year. But yeah, so the final question is, just as you look ahead, what's next for your Jager's Consulting Company, and what's next for VOB Network, and how can we support you in that mission?
As far as Jager's Consulting, it's just, let's reach out, ask questions, be curious. I mean, and I'm happy to support anybody to learn how to remove barriers. I mean, a lot of businesses don't realize it, but it can actually be almost free to hire me. The United States government gives you $20,000 to remove barriers. So, I mean, it happens through when you file your taxes, and there's also a way to capitalize it and depreciate it. So there's a lot of ways financially to make it happen. VOB, this is about, veterans make up 6% of the population. That's it, 6%. We need the whole country for support. And, everybody, if they can just step in, whether it's VOB, whether out in Chicago, you have the Veteran Business Project, Lynn Lauder's initiative. There's a lot of organizations out there that support veterans, and every single one of them that we can bring our presence to, that we can bring attention to, and that we can bring, quite frankly, funds to, the better off everyone will be.
Definitely. So Frank, thank you so much for being a guest on the Shiro Coffee Chat. We definitely will be bringing you back in 2026 to find out what's going on. And to our viewers, again, thank you for watching. And remember to always keep your heart strong and your coffee Shiro. We will see you next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Hey there, thank you so much for hanging out with us on this week's Shiro Coffee Chat. Don't forget, smash that subscribe button so you never miss what's coming next. And hey, make sure your weekday begins with Shiro Coffee, where we keep the world caffeinated and women veterans celebrated. You can visit us at shirocoffee.com. We'll see you next week right here on Shiro Coffee Chat, and have a blessed week.